Now, Elon Musk. Let's have a look into his chart and to see what we can make of it. Now, Elon was born in South Africa. As most people know, he was South African. Was South African. Now he's officially a US citizen. But born in South Africa at 7:30 on the 28th of June, 1971. So that makes his year pillar a yin earth pig, his month pillar being a yang earth horse, day pillar yang wood monkey, and our pillar yang wood dragon. So it's mostly yang on his stems, except the year he's a yin metal. Now, having a look at the nature of his charts, I can tell that it is a resource chart. A day master being yang wood, and you've got combinations with the dragon and the monkey that forms a partial water combination. And water is a resource of wood and supports wood, and wood is its output. So it is a resource chart. And so water would be his best element, and his next best element would be metal, which supports water. So water and metal are his best elements. Now, having a look at his back history, what's happened to him? When did he make his first millions? Well, he first came on the radar in 2002, really, when he made money. I think it was about $178 million when PayPal was sold to eBay. And I believe he was one of the co-founders of PayPal. So a nice earner there for him. And looking back at his chart, 2002, where did that fall in? It fell into the yin metal luck cycle. So people that are not familiar, luck cycles are 10-year blocks throughout your life, and they're like the pillars as well. And they last for 10 years. First half mostly of the stem, which is, in this case, it started in 1998. That luck cycle was yin metal, and then it was rabbit. So yin metal rabbit that lasted for 10 years. So he first came on the radar making lots of money during the yin metal luck cycle. And what did we say about yin metal? Or metal in general? Metal supports water, which is his second best element, being metal. So it makes perfect sense. Then that was a favorable period for him, and he just took off since then. Then the next milestone in his life was in terms of his business life, was 2012. And that was when he made the Forbes billionaires list with $2 billion in 2012. That almost seems like small change to Elon now when he's got hundreds of billions of dollars. $2 billion, paltry $2 billion back then. 2012. And we'll look at his cycle, 2012. Where does it fall into? It falls into the next luck cycle, which is yang metal tiger this time, and it falls exactly in yang metal. And again, metal being his second best element there, supporting him as well. Gee, he's on a roll. And his next milestone happened on January 7th, 2021, when he was ranked the richest in the world by Bloomberg. Okay, January 7th, 2012. When was that? Well, that is still forms part of the rat year. Okay, so in that rat year, he's already got monkey and dragon in his chart. Along with the rat, it forms a complete 3-harmony water combination for water. There again, and what's his best element? It's water. So there he basically came into his prime. on January 7th, 2021. And so it fits right in with what's happened in his life. So what does the future hold for him then? Okay. So the luck cycle he currently is in is the next one, which started in 2018, which is a yin earth ox luck cycle. Doesn't seem to be that lucky, and I guess he's been pretty quiet, I guess, since then. I wouldn't say quiet, I'm like he did by Twitter and so forth. And at Twitter, so in this yin earth ox luck cycle, he seemed to have been pretty quiet, especially during the ox after buying Twitter. And since now, I mean, Twitter, yes, it's raised his profile, and seeing that, he's now given himself the label and pushed himself as a free speech advocate by, after buying Twitter, he has basically said, yep, we're all about free speech now, because Twitter was widely known as being the place of full censorship. And they justified it on the basis of them removing hate speech, so to speak. But who's going to determine what's hate speech and what isn't? It's a very contentious issue if you are going to start sorting through and, making judgments. Because fine, if things are illegal, that's against the law, it shouldn't be on there anyway. But anything beyond that, really, then it comes to someone's judgment, and someone's judgments are affected by their biases and their own personal beliefs. So he's really pushed himself, knowing and aligning himself with the free speech movement at the moment. So he's Twitter, as I understand it, has raised his profile in that sphere, but it really hasn't made money for him, so to speak. So in that front, he's been quiet. Yes, his wealth has gradually increased, along with the increase of the performance of his shares that he owns and so forth. But the Twitter purchase, yes, raised his profile, but really hasn't brought him much money. So in that space, he's been quiet since then. So what can happen? Now, with the ox luck cycle that he's in, the ox does have some hidden metal and also hidden water. So those are the two favorable elements for him. And I guess because of that, he has stepped up and made a move, I guess, increase his profile with Twitter, but it hasn't been a substantial in terms of adding to his wealth or making the leaps that he has in previous luck cycles, like, making it first millions of dollars and being ranked as a billionaire and the world's richest man and so forth. So now, with the hidden elements of metal and water, it has supported him in raising his profile more with the purchase of Twitter, but not as grand as what the full luck cycles of the elements, the waters and the metals have done for him. So that's this cycle. Now the next luck cycle would come in 2028 for him, and that is the Yang Earth Rat. Now, a rat is pure water. And again, like I said, in the rat year, it will have the same effect for him. It'll combine with his dragon and his monkey and would form a full 3-harmony combination that produces water. So it's a full water combination, and that is good for his chart. So he should start taking off again once that rat luck cycle comes around. On the flip side, though, the rat does clash with his horse. So it may be good for money, but it could be bad for creativity and reputation and then that sort of thing. So, yep, it would be good for money and power, but bad for creativity and perhaps reputation. I guess maybe is the mantle that and the reputation that he has pushed for himself in being a free speech advocate, maybe that comes undone at that time and he loses the respect. People may see him no longer as being an advocate for free speech, or they might come out that he was a fake advocate for free speech all along. In terms of bad for creativity, maybe at that time that he'll won't be coming up with any new ideas. I mean, I think it's probably it. Keep doing what he's doing. I mean, he's done SpaceX and that sort of thing. That was a new thing. Not many people did before. And I guess he when he did it then. That was you can say that was creative. So that's what we have for Elon. I mean, he is someone that's done extremely well for himself. And the luck cycles that have supported him did yield results for him, did yield very good results for him. And so what we can say that, he'll pretty much stay the same until his next luck cycle, and then he should take off again when the rat comes around again. Lots more money and power. But as for things like reputation, maybe and creativity, reputation most likely take a dent. Maybe loses a lot of respect from people that then would see him as a fake advocate for free speech. He wasn't a real advocate then, so that's where he could lose it. And creativity, maybe he's run out of more ideas for new businesses and so forth, and would then just be taking over existing businesses and things like that, and just building those up, or just continuing with what he's doing at the moment. And he's in his 50s, I guess, and he'll be working, I think, 100 hours a day, days. And to a lot of people, you think, well, with that much money, and I actually saw a calculator that was trying to work out how long it would take to spend his money. And on the basis, if you spent $1 million a day, it was going to take you 637 years or something like that to finish spending that money. So how many lifetimes is that? You can probably just finish everything, sell off everything and sail into the sunset with no more worry in the world. But keeps on going. Now from Elon Musk's chart, we can see which times that were good for him and which were not. And they're all aligned with the achievements and the milestones that he had for himself in business and personally. Businessmen like Elon Musk and anyone doing business, these readings would be very important. Why? Because for the reason I outlined, it is a very powerful tool when it comes to planning. Because then, like I showed where Elon's good times were, and that aligned with his achievements. And so with that knowledge, if you had that prior knowledge, you can actually plan accordingly, either, launching new business ventures or expansions and so forth. Because if you do that during the times when conditions are favorable, and that means things tend to go your way, and then you have a much higher chance of success, of being able to pull it off. Because yes, starting a new business is scary. You don't know who the risks are, and there's lots of risks and lots of things you need to consider, and you don't know whether or not it's going to be a success. So if you launch it during the time when things are favorable, which means things tend to go your way, you basically be riding the wave, instead of swimming against the wave. And so much easier, and things are much easier to take off. And it doesn't matter. You can be doing the exact same thing, launch the exact same product, or do the exact same business, do all your actions exactly the same in a bad time, when your weaker time where things go against you, and a good time where things tend to go your way. That is the deciding factor, because there's lots of things that you cannot control that's outside of your control. Things like people coming across your ad, more people coming across your ad, or you can have this connection, or that connection comes up. And in business, connections are very important. Or someone ends up needing something that you're selling just at the right time. and you receive those calls for purchases, those calls for these big orders and so forth. And that would really elevate you and lift you up. And especially, yeah, even expanding business, whether or not it's a good idea. Lots of businesses fold. You hear of them folding, and normally the reasons given is that they expanded far too quickly, or they had staffing issues or management issues that caused the expansion to fail. So, but if you knew beforehand when there were good times would be more favorable to you, when things tend to go your way, that's when you should do it. And it's not just businessmen as well. I mean, even if you're a career person climbing the corporate ladder, you would know when it is a favorable time to ask for that raise or really go for that promotion. You know, during your favorable times, someone that's been occupying the position that you've been eyeing for a while, they could leave. They could suddenly resign, or they might be poached by another company, and then that position's vacant. Who's next to step in? You are. Or changes in management, or the company gets sold. Well, if the company gets sold and you might be retained and elevated, something along those lines could happen. It just really helps you. Or a new manager might coming in, and that seems to really like you. And as people that in corporate knows, it's more who you know than what you know that makes you successful. So unfortunately, that is the case. But this is the things that really help people. And so it's more planning, really much planning. So with and this is something I do with a astrology consultation. If the person is focusing on, I'd ask what the focus is. If the focus is on career and money, this is what I would be consulting with them about. What are favorable elements for them. And that's also very important as to what colors you'd wear. Like for Elon, his favorable elements, the best elements for him is water and metal. So it's better for him to be wearing those types of colors. So yeah, watercolors and metal colors. So regarding watercolors, the obvious one is of course blue. But the other one that most people don't realize that is a watercolor is black. So yeah, black is a watercolor. So for someone like Elon, he should be wearing a lot of blue or black. So a lot of blue navy suits and a lot of black suits. Now the other one that's also favorable to him is metal. So on that, you'll consult that to wear metal colors. And what are metal colors? Obviously, it's gold, it's silver. But the other ones people don't realize is also white and gray are metal colors. Now, it has to be light gray. It cannot be charcoal, that very dark gray, which is almost black. And because it's almost black, it's basically water. Okay, a watercolor. But since both colors and both elements are good for Elon, doesn't matter if he wears charcoal. So that's going to be a watercolor anyway. So besides advising on what their favorable elements are, especially you can say I can advise them what type of industries would be better suited for them. Like for Elon, it would be the metal and water industries. So anything to do with water or metal. So metals is electronics. And so he's doing well going into Tesla, which basically is electronics. And also Twitter, which is, with the computers and so forth, a lot of electronics and so forth, metal stuff. So he's done well. He's gone into the right area for him. And because he's gone into the right areas for him, he's become successful in it. So that's what people should also be thinking as well. And that's what I also consult with. It's the color, the colors from the elements, and the elements also determine, guide us to which type of industries you should be in and professions. And also, but the most important thing is picking out when your favorable periods and unfavorable periods are. when you're at your strongest and your weakest. And that means when things tend to go your way and when things tend to go against you. And that's very important information. It's also very powerful information, because then you can take your risks during your favorable strong periods, because things tend to go your way, so you're likely to be able to pull it off. So either a new business or expanding a business or going into another area in business like Elon did with Twitter. And I think that's the first time he's ever been into social media. So he did it at a good time that was favorable to him, and then he's strong. The transaction went through, because I heard there were issues there. At one time, it looked like he wasn't going to be able to purchase it because there were issues about the price that he was offered, but eventually he managed to buy it, and that was during his strong period. So things like that. But conversely, also very important to know when your weak periods are, when things tend to go against you, because then you'd avoid taking risks, because more than likely anything you knew you tried would fail. Because it's very difficult. It's like trying to run uphill or swim against the tide. Things I know going against you makes it really hard. And it's ask any strong swimmer, no matter how strong they are, how far can they get trying to swim against the tide. It's very difficult. You exhaust yourself. Rather than waiting until the tide's more favorable, then you can cover much further distance than you would normally be able to. So it's things like that. It's basically planning. So anyone that is thinking of going to business or expanding the business, please get an astrology reading done. And you can book one through my website, missdragonfly.com.